Peace, y'all. So if you've been tuned in, I've been doing a series on book publishing, how to self-publish your book. So this is the continuation of that. If you haven't, make sure you watch the complete breakdown of my process on how I published my book called Bozo. I released it last year in 2019. But in this video, I'm gonna be talking about budgeting, right? So if anything you do, budgeting is key, to kind of be organizing your plan and your system and your approach. So this is what I'm gonna be talking about in this video. So for me, as you can see here, I spent around $425 to $450 on my book, right? So the majority of it is gonna go towards the ISBN. And most of these things that cost money are optional, right? So ISBN, for example, you can get this free from KDP, Lulu, and Ingram Sparks, which are some of the self-publishing companies that exist out there for you to publish your book, get it uploaded, printed, and distributed, right? And to upload your book, sites like KDP and Lulu are free. So it is free to put your book online, to have it printed and distributed and sold for you. It's free to do that. The only one that charges is Ingram Sparks. They charge an upload fee and even charge a re-upload fee if you have errors you want to fix, right? So that's already covered, right? So for the ISBN, you can also get free, like I mentioned, but when you do get it free from KDP or Lulu, and KDP is Kindle Direct Publishing, or Lulu or Ingram Sparks, they will be listed as the imprint, or they will be listed as the publisher. So why is this important? If you want to, truly be autonomous with your work, independent with your work, you could buy your own ISBN and that will list you as the publisher, that will list you as the imprint, So let's say you have your own publishing company, it's more professional to have you listed rather than Amazon listed, you know what I'm saying? So for the ISBNs that I got, it's a website called myidentifiers.com, also known as Barker, and they sell ISBNs. They're the only website that does it in like North America, but I believe yeah, for North America. So you could buy one ISBN for $125, or you could buy 10 ISBN, which is what I did, which is $295, $300. It's $295 I believe. So what I got was 10 ISBN, and so the ISBN is the International Standard Book Number. It goes on the back of the book, right there. And what it does pretty much is collects metadata for you, and that's good for marketing purposes. It shows you just the data of, how people are buying your book, where they're buying it, stuff that could be useful to you. Also, organize it and, establishes that this is your book separate from other books, right? And some other benefits as well. So what I did was the $300, which is for 10 ISBNs, and this this is just long-term planning. Because for each print of your book, whether it's a paperback or an ebook, it'll need its own unique ISBN number. So, off top, I got 10 ISBNs, so I know that my paperback and my ebook is covered, and I know that for at least, if I do a paperback and an ebook for my next, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, my next 5? For my next 4 books, I'm covered with ISBNs, you know what I'm saying? So long term, it pays for itself, right? So that's $300 for 10. They also have, I believe, some other, you can get 100 ISBN, you can get 1,000 ISBNs, but long term, it pays for itself. So that's just something to keep in mind. Like I said, you can also get it free from KDP and Lulu or Ingram Sparks. And also, if you do get it free, at a later time, you could take the book down and re-upload it with your own unique ISBN. So if you feel, all right now I don't have the funds for it, you perfectly valid to just get the free one. And then at a later time, you okay, let me establish myself, this is my product, let me show and put my ISBN on it. So like I said, you can get the free one now, and then when you do get the ISBNs, you could take the book down, re-upload it with the unique ISBN that you own, right? So like I said, this is an optional expense. Off top, $300, which at the most it's $1,000 for 1,000 ISBNs, but for my area, I was 10 ISBNs is good. So $300. Like I said, in total about $425, $450. So $300, but it's an optional expense. You can get it free. So off top, you won't be spending $300 at all if you get the free one, right? But that's something to keep in mind. Like I said, it does pay for itself in the long run. So other than that, 300. I also paid $125 for 50 copies of my book. So through the website you upload your book to, you, like, let's say I uploaded it through Kindle Direct Publishing, which is what I did, right? I could have it on KDP and people could buy the paperback and the ebooks from there. But off of Amazon, you'll be getting your royalty. So Amazon, I believe, is 60% royalty. But that's before the production cost. So my book costed $251 to print. So if my book costed $10, I will be getting $6. But then the printing cost takes off $250, so I'll be getting $4, right? After all of that. So rather than doing that, I was like, okay, I'm in school. I got people around me that I know want to buy it. Let me sell it myself, and I can get more return on the investment. So that's what the author copies is. It's the copies that you order for yourself to sell yourself. So that's what I did. So yeah, it costed $125 for 50 copies of my book. It came in a box, right? And I just sold it like that. So I sold it online. I sold it for $12. In person, I sold it for $10. So let's say 125, but if I could sell 10 books for $10, I already got 100. Like that's already a pretty good return on investment. You know what I'm saying? So, like, especially if you want to be on your entrepreneurial hustle, your in-person door-to-door salesman hustle, saleswoman hustle, you could really do that. So like I said, my book costed $251 to print, and that determined the price of buying in bulk my author copy. So the print cost depends on how many pages your book has, the type of paper you have, the type of cover you got, the size of the book. If it's 5x8, 6x9, I'm gonna break that down in another video, sizing and how that influences formatting. But all of that influences how the printing cost is gonna come out. So your book could be $3, and that would, for 50 copies, that would be $150. You know what I'm saying? So that's something to keep in mind. You know, depending on your book, the printing costs may or may not be different. So like I said, mine was $250, mine was $251 exactly, and for 50 copies it came out to $125, and Amazon shipped that to me, and it came in a box, and I just sold it like that at my school. And like I said, I know I sold more than 20-30 copies. So 20 copies at $10, that's $200. You know, we already looking at a $75 profit, right? And you know, just do the math. This goes back to having a system with your budget. You want to make sure you organize and you know where the money's going, and especially where the money is coming in, and how that all balances out, right? So in total, that's about $425. You may or may not be spending more on marketing. For me, I created my cover and I edited my book myself. But you can go to sites like Fiverr and hire somebody to edit your book for you, to format your book for you, and to make the cover for you. So that's another expense to keep in mind. If you do get a freelance, somebody who offers a freelance service to do the editing, formatting, and book cover for you, that's another additional expense that you may have to keep in mind. I didn't do it, so that's why in total my thing came out to $425 to $450. Like I said, your budget may be more, maybe less. Again, the ISBN is optional, so you can knock $300 right out the door. We're looking at $125 if you just gain your author copies. At most, maybe $200 if you do decide to get an editor, a formatter, and a graphic designer for your cover, right? Or you could do it yourself, and at most you'll be spending $125 or less, depending on the printing costs, and you just wanting to sell the author copies, and you selling it yourself, you already got the return on investment. So you automatically looking at a profit if you play your cards right. And again, be organized in your approach. So like I said, keep in mind that if you hire someone to edit, format, or design the cover of your book, then that will be further expenses to account for, right? But like I said, do the math. If you, for example, sell 50 copies of your book at $10, you might, even if you do get the ISBN and you sold all 50 copies, that's only 50 copies, and you sell it at $10, that's $500. So if you do end up spending around $450, that's a $50 profit, and that's not even counting the royalties you getting off of online purchases, right? So the most thing you got to be worrying about is making sure the book is done, making sure you organize and how you putting your money down, and also keeping in mind getting your name out there, because that's going to sell it itself. Being a brand and the gift of gab and being able to express what your book is about, and of course the content itself, it will sell itself. So you know what I'm saying, you could definitely get a good return on investment from self-publishing a book, from whether you just do 100% online royalties or you sell it yourself, right? Like you could make a profit by just posting your book, and you could say forget the ISBN and forget the ordering author copies. I just want people to buy it on Amazon, and you can get money from that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, like for my process, it came out to around 450. Long term, this already pays for itself. So I know for my next books, at most I'm gonna be spending the 125 to order the author copies, because I already got the ISBN covered for it. I got the ISBN covered for my next 4 books at the least, right, or at the most. If I do a paperback and an ebook, right, and an ebook is online royalty, so that's, you know what I'm saying, for the paperback, bada bing, bada boom, right? You can sell that yourself. And that's pretty much it, right? So definitely it goes back to just having a systematic approach, being methodical, knowing where your money's going, and especially knowing how it's coming in. And we're going to talk about it in the marketing video I'm going to do. But do not let people slack on the bread, especially if they call yourselves their friends. They should be giving their complete self to you to help you in any way, shape, or form with your independent, you know, business that you running, because you are business once you decide to go on this journey. And it's a very liberating process, especially in this time, to have as many avenues to get revenue. It's key and it's clutch, right? So, you know, my name is Andres, ya tu sabe. Bozo came out 2019. Definitely made bread off of that. And, you know, make sure y'all stay consistent on that journey. Peace, y'all.